With Spice, you can give every AI agent its own query sandbox that can do analytical queries on your operational data sources without setting up any additional infrastructure. To demonstrate this, I'll go over to my application. This is a question and answer site similar to Stack Overflow, and I want my agent to be able to run queries on this data without it affecting my main application. Setting up an analytics replica in Spice takes just a couple of minutes. I'll switch over to the cloud portal and log in, and I'll create a new app. I'll choose the real-time analytics replica template, and then I'll add a new connection, connect over to my Postgres, and fill in the details. Now I'll test the connection to make sure it's working, and then save it. Spice has found all of my tables, and so now I'll go ahead and create the app. We'll give this a couple minutes to load, and in the meantime, swap over to pgadmin. This is connected directly to my Postgres instance that's powering my main application. If we come over here, we can see that we've got about 1 million rows in this data set, and for a typical analytical query like this that your agent might want to run on this Postgres instance, it takes just under a minute. Spice being an isolated replica means that agent query traffic is not hitting your Postgres directly and tying up resources that your app needs for itself. Now let's switch back to Spice and run the same query on our newly created analytics replica. We can see that Spice was able to replicate all of the changes from my database in just about 3 minutes. And now I'll run that same query that took Postgres a minute to execute in Spice to compare. Great. So this query that took Postgres a minute to run takes only 3 seconds in Spice, and it did so without touching my main operational database at all, and without having to set up any additional infrastructure like Kafka or Debezium. But of course, being able to run analytical queries is only half the battle. We also want to make sure that these queries are operating on the most up-to-date real-time data. For example, if I go to my application and ask a new question, I would like for that question to be immediately available for queries in Spice. To demonstrate this, I'll run a query here that will return 0 results because I haven't asked this question yet. Now I'll go to my application. I'll ask this question. I'll give a tag, post it. So now we've got this question. If I come back to Spice and query on it, we'll see that we get the return result immediately. And if I come back to my application and then say delete it, then this query should return the results again, and it does. And so Spice is replicating those changes in real time, including deletes and updates, and applying them to the analytics replica. Once you have your analytics replica set up, you might want to be able to connect it to other sources of data you have so that you can join it with that data sets to make it even more useful for your AI agents. If I go over to the Connections tab and click Add New Connection, we'll see that Spice supports over 40 different connections to different data sources that we can include inside of our Spice instance. And this includes structured and unstructured data sets such as PDFs or Markdown files in Object Store, as well as traditional databases and data lakes. I'll swap over to another Spice instance I have preloaded with a few other data sets. In this Spice instance, I have loaded some historical data sets. So these are actually stored as Iceberg tables in Glue. You see we've got another 1 million records here, and then we can perform analytical queries on these no problem. The next thing you might want your AI agents to be able to do is to search on your different data sets. And so in Spice, we support the ability to do both vector and full text search. So here I have a query, I'll run it, and it's doing a join between 2 data sets, one which is Python docs, which are PDF documents that we've vectorized, and we have a vector search function that allows us to easily search using them. And then we've also got a text search functionality, which uses full BM25 TantaB indexes to do text search functionality. And so we have both of these queries. We're joining them together and running this query, and Spice is able to handle that with no issues. And then finally, we have the ability to do some AI functionality. And so here I'll run this query, and what this is doing is it's taking an AI function we have, which gives it a prompt, which can run with some of your data from your table. And so for this example, it's categorizing some data from the title, and then also translating the title as well. And so we can see here that we're getting the topics, which was generated by AI, and also the translations, which was generated by AI. So in just a few minutes, I was able to demonstrate how Spice was able to connect over to your operational data store and become an analytics replica in just a few minutes. The benefits that provided in terms of isolation and query speed, as well as being able to layer on federation to other data sources and search on top of it. Thank you.